It's almost always the same. I use it, they get turned on, and they start chasing me. It really works for me. And I found out it works for almost any guy, no matter how old, fat, ugly, or anything else you are. Not only that, but when I use this trick that I'm going to share with you, my insecurities completely vanished because women started chasing me. What's even more amazing is that this trick even works on girls who've ghosted you. Girls who told you, let's just be friends. And there's just about zero chance of rejection because it's entirely subconscious. So she doesn't even know you're doing it. And maybe best of all is that this trick works almost every time. Seriously, I've never been rejected when I used it. And listen, since you were lucky enough to find this presentation before it gets forced off the internet, in a few moments, I'm going to show you video proof of this almost unfair technique being used on a smoking hot girl for free, so you can start using it too. Yet first, I have to warn you, this is a trick that a lot of women don't want you to know, which is why a few small groups of them are trying to have my presentation banned, like this social justice loser who had the nerve to say this about this controversial seduction trick. In today's progressive society, it's a step back to give men this much power. What she's really saying is no man has the right to turn a woman on with this trick. And personally, I think that's nonsense. Women turn us on uncontrollably just by being hot. And I've come to realize after years and years of hopeless failures with women that if you can't get a woman to chase you, you're not going to get a girlfriend. Best of all, when she chases you, you know she wants it. So if anything, you're the one who needs to give her consent. It's pretty awesome when you could turn the tables like this, which is exactly why I refuse to let women like that SJW ruin my fun. So listen, I don't care who this presentation upsets. For the next few minutes, I'm going to spit in the face of all the woke beta males and the men should feel bad for being men SJWs who've taken over the mainstream media. These are people holding you back from the woman you want. Trust me, your natural desires are not wrong. Women have them too. And wow, is it fun when you unleash them. The secret I'm about to reveal was discovered by a controversial doctor in Singapore. And the reason that some people are so upset about it is that it uses a brand new and kind of strange psychological discovery to tap into a woman's animal brain. The same part of the human brain that makes her lust for a man and get uncontrollably turned on. Because her animal brain is her raw, emotional, cave woman brain. In fact, when you tap into these deep and previously unknown female desires with this one easy trick, you'll usually just sit back, relax, and watch as that girl you want chases you right into your bedroom. So, some of the "we're fine without men" feminists are now trying to claim that this trick is deceptive, manipulative, and can cause serious effects on a person's decision-making abilities. And of course, these are the same women who have been trying to keep men down for the last 20 years. But you know what I say to that? Makeup is manipulative. Implants are deceptive. And when a woman shoved them in my face after I used this technique on her, it had serious effects on my decision-making abilities. So listen, if you're a perv, or if you're going to use this to cheat on a girl, or if you want to hurt women, then please don't keep watching right now. But if you're a good guy who just wants an advantage over every other guy who's hitting up the hotties, then I'm willing to share this trick with you. I first learned about it after meeting my mentor, Dr. David T. He's a skinny little science geek who lives in Singapore. He's Asian, about 5'7", but when I saw what this man could do with women, and when I saw what women desperately wanted to do with this man, I knew I needed to learn his secret. The reason I sought David out is a little bit embarrassing. You see, the love of my life, a girl I treated like a princess and planned on marrying, she crushed my heart and made me look like a pathetic little chump. My girl, Ashley, worked at Applebee's with me, and one night after we had closed, I walked in on her and my boss Randy, getting it on like they were auditioning for a tube site. When I first peered through the kitchen doors, I couldn't believe what I saw. It looked like something out of a movie. I had no idea she was that dirty. And what hurt the most is that before she turned around and noticed me, I could tell she was really enjoying it. She was making noises she'd never made with me. And when Ashley finally did turn around and saw me, she gasped. They both looked at me for a second, startled, until my boss finally yelled, "Bro, what are you looking at? Get out of here!" I remember mumbling, "Ashley," and all she had to say for herself was, "Mike, what the fuck?" And then he went right back at it, like I wasn't even there. I was crushed, and like the little wuss bag that I was, I walked out of that kitchen with my head down without saying another word. Needless to say, Ashley and I were done, and as much as that moment stung like a punch to the gut, the worst part was being single. I didn't hook up with another girl for 2 years, 7 months, and 13 days after that awful night. Yes, I was counting. You see, I was was doing what I thought single men were supposed to do. I'd hit up dozens of women on Tinder, trying to get them to pay attention to me. Occasionally, some girl would message me back, and after what seemed like ages, I'd actually get a date with a girl. But it always ended the same way. Either she'd ghost me, or she'd tell me, let's just be friends. Even the ones who I wasn't that into. And it really sucked, because I knew that if the right girl gave me a chance, I'd be great. But it got to a point where for about a year, I just gave up. I stopped trying and spent most of my days watching movies and playing video games. And my lonely nights were mostly spent on tube sites. Until one night, I don't know what got into me, but it finally struck me. I was addicted to these tube sites, and I knew it was time. Time to start meeting some real women. Maybe even time to actually start hooking up with some real women. Maybe you can relate to what I felt that night. And on some level, you know that it's time to get offline and actually start hooking up with real women. So here's what I did. I searched every corner of the internet for someone who could teach me how to make a woman want me without being a sucker and paying for it. And by the time I stumbled upon Dr. David's website, I was pretty desperate because I had gotten scammed out of hundreds of hard-earned dollars buying stupid pickup products by so-called dating experts. These guys would promise the world, but their products always sucked. But David's advice, it seemed different. And when I saw he'd been featured in dozens of media outlets, I thought maybe, just maybe, this guy is legit. So I started emailing him, and he started giving me advice here and there. And 3 weeks later, David sent me an email announcing he was holding an exclusive closed-door seminar in Hollywood. For the first time ever, he planned on unveiling a brand new technique to 15 guys willing to shell out $5,000. The technique was called the Desire System, and David claimed it was simple but revolutionary, different from anything else out there, and worked to make a girl chase you. You'll see video footage of it in action in just a minute. So I said, screw it. Even though that's more money than I make in 4 months, I'll just put it on the credit card. After all, he was offering a full refund if the technique wasn't everything he claimed and more. When I got to Los Angeles, I was the first guy to arrive at Dr. David's bachelor pad, so I was lucky enough to get a little alone time with him. When I walked in, he was sitting on a red couch, surrounded by a group of 3 women that weren't wearing all that much. One woman was serving him food. Another one was washing his dishes in the kitchen, and one of them was actually giving him a foot massage. As David casually greeted me, I looked at the guy in awe. I'd never seen anything like this before. So I asked him flat out what his secret was. And he didn't talk about pickup lines. He didn't talk about good looks or fashion. He talked about cold, hard neuroscience that penetrates a woman's emotions. And he taught me a trick based on a brand new psychological discovery called emotional contagion. A trick that makes almost any girl feel intense desire for you on command and causes her to start chasing you right away. That's right, instantly. That's what emotional contagion did for me. And that's what it can do for you. Because Dr. David's research proved that your emotions, even your most powerful emotions, like arousal, desire, and love, they can be made contagious. Like the words of a song you can't get out of your head. And women have known this for years, even if they don't know the science behind it. It works for love. It works for desire. It even works for arousal. That's why when a panel of young women on the internet were asked, is being aroused contagious? They said things like, yes, knowing he's aroused makes me aroused. And people can tell when I'm aroused because I'm such a good girl. Another woman said, there's never really a moment when I'm not aroused. And the third said, heck yes, it turns me on and I give in. But still, when David told me all this, I didn't believe it at first. Then he yawned. And of course, I yawned back. Think about it. Have you ever yawned only to have every other person around you start to open their mouth and just let out a big yawn? You probably have, and maybe you're even yawning right now. That's because yawning is a trigger. It triggers a predictable response in other people, sleepiness and yawning back. Well, as David discovered, out there are other triggers, even more powerful than yawning, emotional triggers that can create intense feelings of arousal in women, so they become so incredibly turned on that they start to chase you. Now, imagine yourself in front of that girl you like. You let out a big yawn, and you watch as within seconds, she starts opening her mouth, her eyes moisten, and she yawns back. Then you do David's trick and notice her slightly suspicious eyes turning into bedroom eyes that begin to start scanning your body up and down, and the conversation switches from a polite chat to a very definite pursuit. All of a sudden, she starts touching you, complimenting you, asking you questions that are slightly inappropriate. If she's had a drink or two, she might even get aggressive, moving in close, and even putting her hand somewhere private. And yeah, I know that sounds like a lot of fun, and it is. And that's exactly what David's trick does. It uses the power of emotional contagion to turn her on and get her to chase you. Listen, when David revealed his entire system to me and 14 other guys that weekend, I was awestruck and practically jumping out of my seat to go try it on girls. Now, this was before the virus, so we went out to try it at the bars, and 12 of the 15 guys had a one-night stand with a girl they met at the bars and clubs we went to. So, I want you to hear from some of the other guys who were there with me, then I'll show you his trick. I'm 5'4" and 245 pounds, so I thought this technique wouldn't work for a guy like me. I was a virgin, and I thought I was too short and too fat. But now I'm a believer. In my first month, I slept with 9 girls, including the girl I've had a crush on since high school. Thanks, David. Ashwin K. Even though I'm the last person who would try something like this normally, I obviously had to give this a try when I was invited to the seminar. The night after I got home, I used the trick to get a girl who'd been driving me crazy for years. She had told me she just wanted to be friends, but now, after 2 weeks, we've got each other stored in our phones as send text when ready. She loves it, and I love it too. Edward A. I was skeptical at first that this might be a ripoff. This trick seems too good to be true, but I'm willing to try new things, so I tried it. And boy, am I glad I did. I couldn't get over my ex-girlfriend, but after using this, she came after me hard and demanded to see me that night, and she hasn't stopped messaging me. I'm sleeping with 3 different girls who are all young and hot, so I'm going to wait it out before I decide whether to take her back or not. But anyways, I just wanted to write in and say, this works. Tim P. There are dozens more success stories like these, but what about my results? Well, after I learned the trick, it felt like I had superpowers with women. Actually, it felt kind of dangerous. At one point, I had lunch with my ex-girlfriend Ashley, who I would never take back after what happened with my boss, but I decided to try the trick on her just to see if it would actually work. And within seconds, I could see her getting visibly turned on, so much so that she tried to drag me to the bathroom of the small cafe we were eating at and go at it with me right there. And even though I decided to wait until we left the restaurant, here's the point. Dr. David's technique can make almost any woman turned on command. So when you use it, you have to be careful. Seriously, don't use it on your mom. The week after I got back from Los Angeles, I was in line at Starbucks, and I saw this exotic-looking Latin girl who was 4 full inches taller than me. I'm only 5'6". This is the kind of girl I couldn't have even made eye contact with just a few weeks ago. Early 20s, long, tan legs, perfect body, and even though we were both wearing face masks, I could tell that her lips were gorgeous. But I didn't feel scared because Dr. David's trick had worked so often for me. I knew exactly what I had to do. And instead of begging for her attention or approval like I would have in the past, I confidently turned around, said a few things about the weather, used the trick, and then she started moving closer and closer to me. It was like I was a magnet, slowly pulling her in. She literally ignored all of the social distancing decals and just kept getting closer and closer. After about a minute, I could see her blushing and twirling her hair. And what totally blew me away is when she asked me what I was doing that night. And after she asked for my number, we made some dinner plans. At dinner, I kept using Dr. David's method. And to my surprise, this Latin bombshell, whose name was Luciana, she was actually complimenting me on things I used to be insecure about. I was always ashamed of the dark brown mole on my left cheek, but this girl couldn't stop talking about how cute it was. My weight, my age, all that stuff that I thought was holding me back before actually turned into a positive. And 2 hours later, Luciana was laying in my arms, in my bed. It was wild. And I have to tell you, even though my neighbors probably didn't get much sleep that night, for me, it was the best night of my life up to that point. And she told me that I'd fulfilled a fantasy that she'd had since being a teenager. Well, let me tell you, when I heard that, I finally felt like a man again. For the first time ever, I was in control of my life, which is exactly how you're going to feel when you start using this. All in all, within the first 4 months of using Dr. David's method, I hooked up with 49 new women. And the best part is how incredibly easy it was. I could use it on my female friends, my coworkers, waitresses, bartenders, and cashiers. I just used the trick. And within minutes, I noticed that she was getting so aroused aroused that she'd make the first move on me. And how about Tinder and Bumble? Easy, because once she's out with you, it's basically a done deal. So, what is the trick? Well, during the closed door seminar, David revealed the trick to me and 14 other guys. That's the good news, but I do have some bad news. Dr. David only ran this seminar once, and no matter how hard the guys have begged, he's not going to run it again. But here's the great news. Dr. David filmed the conference. After a lot of pushing and prodding by me, he has reluctantly agreed to release a very small number of this seminar to the public. He knows how tough the shutdown has been for guys, so he wants to give them a hand right now. He calls it the Desire System. It's the only system in the world that uses neuroscience to induce arousal in women so that she chases you. It was designed by Dr. David and his team of researchers in Singapore and is guaranteed to make any innocent interaction with a girl into a hot, tension-filled chase. It takes almost any woman you want from not giving a damn about you, thinking she's too good for you, or totally unaware of your existence, to feverishly turned on and chasing you hard. At which point, you get to decide whether you want to hook up then and there, or if you want to let the tension grow like I did with Luciana. And best of all, it's easy, because you're harnessing the power of emotional contagion to turn her on. This system makes every pickup line, dating strategy, and every other technique you've ever heard of completely obsolete, because it's different from any product or system out there right now. And trust me, I tried other systems before I met David, and they all claim to be so simple. Just ask a girl a few questions, figure out what kind of girl she is, and then stealthily turn up the heat to her while no one's looking. These dudes always make it sound so easy. But my problem is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can never make any of these so-called simple systems work. I knew there was something else to it. And when I was first introduced to emotional contagion and Dr. David's Desire System, the crazy thing was that it really was that simple. Because unlike anything else out there, it operates below the radar of a woman's awareness. It focuses 100% on her emotions, which, as you've probably figured out by now, are the key to heart and mind of her body. Because with the Desire System, her whole body is telling her to go for you, even before her mind knows what's going on. So it really is that simple. It had to be, so a guy like me could sleep with 49 women with it. And you know, even Dr. David wasn't always the ladies' man he is today. Far from it, actually. Not long ago, he was a shy U.S. foreign exchange student who couldn't get a girl to kiss him to save his life. But then he stumbled upon the secrets of emotional contagion in an obscure psychology journal. Shortly after he started turning these secrets into his explosive system, David slept with over 30 jaw-dropping women in less than 2 months. The local newspapers even wrote a story on his feat. He's hooked up with celebrities and actresses I can't name for privacy reasons, and now he's dating a perfect 10 good girl lingerie model. Plus, David operates the largest dating academy in the world in Singapore. But you won't learn the Desire System there, because Singapore's strict laws simply won't allow it. So he's not teaching it in person anymore to anyone. Even so, you won't find a dating coach more sought after than Dr. David. He's just that good. I'm going to start David's demonstration right now, as I tell you what you'll be learning in the Desire System and why it's going to work for you too. The one controversial trick that helps you control a woman's arousal. How to covertly compel a woman to make the first move on you. When you use this, she'll think hooking up was her idea. And because she's the one desperately trying to win you over, don't be surprised if you get hundreds of dollars worth of free dinners and drinks out of this move alone. Tommy D sent David a message about this technique saying, "Man, did this technique work good. The game is so much easier when she moves in on you first. A secret method that makes women who blew you off before chase you down like a hungry cat chasing a fat, tasty mouse. When you use this one on your ex, it will instantly reignite every good feeling she previously felt towards you, while she ignores the bad and begs you to make love to her and take her back. David's sneaky but ethical method for blasting out of the friend zone and ending up in the fun zone. And in less than 2 minutes, you can induce a full body arousal state in any girl. David will show you exactly how. Balin G wrote in about this. Now, this is the ace up my sleeve for getting her turned on. It worked like a charm, and the technique alone has gotten me over 25 women in the past 8 months. How 3 simple sentences will allow you to turn off her logical brain and turn up the heat on her primal desires, to the point where she almost has to have you within the next minute. These 3 sentences are crucial if you ever want to help her live out her fantasies, like filming private videos for you and you alone. If a girl ever challenges you or gets rude, you'll laugh, then do one thing, and she'll immediately apologize and insist on making it up to you in bed. A newly discovered inception technique for planting fantasies about you in a woman's mind. mind. So when she's sitting at home, bored and by herself, the first thing that will jump into her head is how great it would be to have you over to pleasure her. How to use your eyes to triple her arousal in 7 seconds or less. Etem V said of this technique, "My favorite part is the eye-to-eye attraction, because what's coming out of your mouth is irrelevant. The technique takes the pressure off, and women always want me after I use it." 3 deadly attraction sins. You must avoid these at all costs if you care to get more than a polite, "It was nice to meet you" from her. A sneaky, subtle move you can use on any woman to blow past almost any objection she has to being with you, and have her be the one who's dragging you by the belt to the bedroom door. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So how did that feel? Was it creepy at all? How does it feel from your perspective?
Well, that was working. I felt like we were
Cool.
in our own little bubble.
Yeah, a bubble. Like then everything kind of fades away, so it's sort of like this whole
Yeah.
little our own world.
And I almost needed to go to the ladies.
Oh, okay. Well, we can take a break now.
So what can you realistically expect when you use the Desire system? Well, here's a pretty common scenario. Right after you use it, the girl will appear calm, and for about 20 seconds, you'll wonder if it's working or not. Then you'll watch as her eyes begin to get wider. She'll start rubbing her thighs together, stroking her hair, and unconsciously touching herself lightly right above the chest. From there, only one of 2 things can happen. Number 1, she'll make the first move on you 99% of the time. If it's nighttime, she'll gently start touching you and whispering in your ear that she'd like to move to a more private location. If it's daytime and you're not in a place where she can corner you and kiss you, she'll aggressively try to make plans to hang out the first night she's free. Or, in rare cases, if she's extremely shy, she may not openly hit on you, but she'll still make it stupid obvious that she's turned on and that she wants you. And in the Desire system, Dr. David shows you how easy it is to work with a shy girl's emotions and let her feel comfortable showing you her wild side. He shows you the brain-dead simple moves you need to make. No lines to memorize, no fancy routines, that'll give you the power to get these shy girls to open up to you and live out their craziest fantasies with you. And unlike all of those times in the past when you felt like she held all the cards, you'll now have more complete control of the relationship, because you basically hold a joystick that is wired to her emotional brain and can take things wherever you want. Which is great if you eventually want her to become your girlfriend or even your wife, and just as easy if you only want to make it a one-night stand. So right now, I bet you have a few questions about the Desire system. How much does it cost? Are my results guaranteed? And most importantly, how the heck do I get my hands on it? Well, we'll get to all that in a second. But first, I want to make it absolutely clear who the Desire system is not for. Because of the nature of this discovery, David is only releasing it to a limited number of guys. So if you're the kind of person who's going to watch David's videos but never actually use it, then please politely get the heck out of here. And because of the advanced psychological techniques in the program, we simply don't want this in the hands of guys who will use it to harm women. This system is only for guys who are serious about taking action and using it for good. Still with me? Good. Now, you already know that I paid over $5,000 to learn Dr. David's system in person, not to mention travel and hotel costs. His services are obviously not cheap. And you know what else isn't cheap? Paying for dates, dinners, drinks, and gifts for women. That stuff adds up to thousands of dollars for most guys. So, what do you think would be a fair price to finally take control back from women? Start hooking up as much as you can handle and avoid wasting time, money, and pain on girls that aren't even worth it. What's it worth to be able to induce arousal in any woman in mere hours or minutes? $2,000? $1,000? Most men would consider $597 an absolutely fair price for this power, especially with the bonuses David's going to give you. But that's not what you're paying right now. You're not even paying half of that. You won't even pay $147. For today only, the first 500 guys who take action will get David's entire Desire system filmed in state-of-the-art HD video and hosted online, so you can start watching it right now for the one-time low price of only $67 by clicking the orange Next Step button below this video. Break that down over the next 2 months, and it comes out to $1.10 per day. That's roughly the price of a can of soda. But there's no soft drink in the world that will put more women in your bed and give you the power to turn on almost any woman you want. And I have to tell you, you're pretty lucky you stumbled upon this page when you did, because David is about to slam the doors shut on the Desire system. You see, David is issuing a test release of 500 copies today to see how the world reacts to his shocking new technique. The media follows David relentlessly, and he's just not willing to risk the squeaky clean reputation of his dating academy. Not if the feminist media rips him for shreds for the power that this gives men, which is why, once the 500th copy is sold, David is closing sales on Desire for at least another year to see how the world takes it before he even considers letting it out of the bag again. So if you're watching this right now, congratulations! There is space left, and there's exactly one spot reserved for you. Your spot will be reserved for the next 10 minutes, and if you don't act now and click the button below this video, your spot will be passed on to the next lucky guy. This video announcement is going to be out to hundreds of thousands of men like you, so do not hesitate on this, and you can make your purchase with full confidence because David is fully guaranteeing your satisfaction for 365 days. That's right, you can test drive this breakthrough system for a full year, and if, for whatever reason, within that year you aren't completely satisfied, heck, even if you don't like the way David's face looks, just shoot David an email or call his toll-free number and you'll promptly receive a refund. But let's be honest, that probably isn't going to happen. Dr. David's Desire system has had a shocking success rate, and there's no reason that you would be an exception. Now, here are the bonus programs that David is including with your purchase today. First, you'll get Friends into Lovers. It's normally $67, but it's yours free today. In this seminar, you'll get an easy step-by-step formula for turning your female friends into lustful lovers. And trust me, if a girl has ever told you, let's just be friends, then you'll want this proven formula. Next, you'll get the Complete Confidence Hypnosis. This one goes for $97, but it's free today for you. After listening to this short, relaxing audio MP3 about 5 times in your sleep or at your convenience, your confidence will blast through the roof. Because this revolutionary new audio program uses the power of suggestion to retrain your brain and obliterate any limiting beliefs or insecurities that have been holding you back with women. The audio does all the work for you. No drills, exercises, or affirmations. Just complete and utter confidence with women. You're also getting free access to the Endless Conversation course. Typically, it costs $97. This is the easy system that guarantees you'll never run out of things to say. So women will be hanging on your every sentence. And you'll have loads of ammo to keep any conversation going for as long as you want. Also, for signing up today, you're eligible for a 14-day trial to David's Way of the Rake coaching course. In this, you'll learn the same advanced techniques that David's full-time students learn at the Dating Academy when they sign on for monthly coaching. And all of this is free when you click the button below this video. I thought Dr. David was nuts to give these bonuses away, yet he insisted on including them with your purchase today, which means you'll now get 4 amazing life-changing bonuses with your purchase, a value of well over $300 completely free of charge. It's David's way of saying thank you to the 500 men who are joining him today. Just click the button below this video, claim your risk-free e-voucher on the next page, and lock in your spot. The time is now. You're about to get access to the only system that allows you to induce arousal on command, as easy as yawning, so she pursues you like a heat-seeking missile locked on its target. Look, you already know that this video won't be up for long, so if you want this controversial new system, then you must act now. Click the button below. Start using the system tonight, and wake up in just days next to a truly breathtaking babe. Her smile for you as bright as the sun, turned on and ready to go again. Here's what's going to happen when you click the button below. You'll immediately be taken to David's risk-free e-voucher, which will reserve you one of the 500 spots for 5 minutes until it expires. You'll then fill out the simple form, enter your payment information, and click the Complete My Order button to start your 365-day risk-free trial of the Desire system. And you could feel completely confident that your private data is secure and safe with Dr. David because he's encrypted the checkout page with the latest 256-bit encryption software, which ensures your purchase is safe, private, and secure, and means nobody will know about your purchase except you and David. So lock in your spot now. Enter your email address and click the button below. Fill out the easy and secure form and get instant access. And what if you have questions along the way? With your purchase, you'll get access to Dr. David's private discussion forum, where you'll get support and assistance from David's coaches who are experts at the Desire system, so they can help you every step along the way. And if you've got questions, he's got answers. It all starts right now when you click the button below and complete your purchase. So right now, you have a simple choice. Option 1, the risky choice, where you do nothing. Let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity pass you by.